Sweet Mindfulness Collective. This right here, right now, is the joy of being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Folks, very happy to be here with you as always. Let me tell you right now, very happy to be here with you. Hit me with where you at, and what is that clanking? That's what I want to know. What are you grateful for? Oh, I know what I'm grateful for. Grateful for a guilty verdict. What's up? Okay, folks. Where are you at? What are you guilty for? What are you grateful for? Exactly. I can't believe I made it on time, folks. I was dealing with the dog, and then I needed a bio break, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna miss the countdown." And I sat down, and it said 0. It was 2, 1. I was like, "I'm here. Okay, perfect." I made it in time. Where are folks at? What are you grateful for? Excited for today. We're going to be doing some loving kindness meditation, or as I talk about it, as kind awareness, and learning to rely on that, learning to return to that, and maybe a little tie-in with some non-duality material as well. That is the case. So, folks, Guatemala, grateful for remote work. Excellent. Glad to hear that. Glad to have you back with us, Chris. I can't believe our technicals worked last time. We were actually able to hear your voice, which was great. And okay, what else? Where are folks joining us from? What are you grateful for? Excited for meditation today. Excited that the puppy is doing okay again. Just checking what substance that was. This is some old ass water, and gotta remember to bring that back in. Okay, folks, excited for today. Let's practice today. Let's do some meditation. I thought we'd mix it up a little bit, and we do a little bit of meditation, and then go from there. So folks, where are you at? What are you grateful for? And then we will begin in a minute. As you're typing in where you're at, what you're grateful for, I will begin to prepare our meditation. We're going to be practicing in stillness. I'm going to encourage you to be still for the entire time without any movement of any kind. And then beep up, mail. No, that's the wrong thing. Excellent. Okay. So the point of it all is that, what is the point? Okay, we're going to be practicing in stillness. I'm going to encourage you to be still in the old body machine, unless you feel overwhelmed, in which case you can adjust either slightly or adjust largely. And if you want, you can allow the eyes to open. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed with the eyes closed, make sure they rest on a single point. And if you're totally overwhelmed, just stop the meditation in general. I give that overwhelm warning a lot, but I'm always a little concerned that it's, no one doesn't matter. No one cares. But overwhelm can be real. Morning all, Brooklyn, morning all, oh, sorry. There's 613 style from California, grateful for friends getting vaccinated. Isn't that great? Isn't that lovely? We can have one-on-one. And it's totally safe now. It's totally, I don't know if totally safe, but they say it is okay for friends to see friends maskless, which is super cool. Morning from BK, grateful for gardens. I wonder if anyone was in the United States in a place that was somewhat populated when the verdict came in yesterday. I was in Brooklyn, and people were crying and cheering, and everyone's honking their horns and jumping up and down in the streets. It was pretty delightful. Disciple of One, Finland, grateful for a sunny day. That is lovely. I'm going to go enjoy the sunny day right after this. I think, if I'm correct on what happens after this. Oh, I have a few things in a row, and then I can enjoy the sunny day. So folks, we're going to meditate our asses off today. Let's find a nice comfortable position that we can maintain for the duration of the sit. I encourage folks to sit so that their knees are lower than their hips. I'm actually on a couch right now, but I sort of like fold my legs like this down. But okay, so here's a good example actually. I wonder if this is true with the spine as well. So basically, you see with my arm, it's like straight across right to my shoulder. Let's imagine that my shoulders are hips. So if we sit like this, the spine is going to roll like this. It just can't help it. The higher this goes up, the more the spine rolls down. But if the hips actually go down below, parallel down to here, suddenly the lower spine can arch on its own. As the spine goes down, the spine will arch more and more, sort of naturally. But we're finding a balance point here, and this is sort of what the hips do. I never did this analogy before, so that works pretty well. So I encourage you to make sure that the hips are lower. The hips are lower than the knees. The knees are lower than the hips, so that the spine can rest. So folks, find that nice comfortable position, and we're going to meditate for 25 minutes. If that sounds impossible, trust me, you will survive. What are your thoughts on having back support? I think back support is fine. What I actually recommend, excuse me, I got a bigger cough in here. Back supports, for one thing, all of these recommendations come in relationship to bodies that don't have challenges. If you have a challenge, the principle is just to rest as much as you can without getting sleepy. So finding a way to position yourself so that it's not harmful or uncomfortable. If you have a kind of standard body or a non-injured body, this kind of thing, in terms of back support, I typically, like if the spine is, or basically I wouldn't recommend back support above the middle of the lower spine. So the spine has two curves in it, lower spine, upper spine, and they kind of balance on each other. This from evolution was because we were curved and then we made ourselves go upright. So this bottom curve is later in evolution, and then this upper curve is kind of more historical. So this lower curve, I wouldn't suggest any back support above the middle of the lower spine. And really often it's just at the bottom of the hips, which is enough because you want to find that balance point. So if I do back support, I won't even go above the hips. Like I just do the tailbone and do support on the tailbone, and that's enough. But make yourself comfortable as long as you're not like loungy, sleepy. That can be a little problematic. Okay, so folks, finding a nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration. And when you're ready, we will begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths. Just feeling the body rise and fall. Whenever we begin a meditation, we need to adjust the practice according to the momentum of the previous moments. One way we do this is by simply noticing this particular moment. So as we physically relax the body, noticing how the mind perceives the experience. If the mind was going quickly, it will likely continue to experience these sensations in rapid-fire succession. If the mind is sleepy or out of energy, it will likely experience whatever it comes in contact with in a sort of sleepy, foggy way. And we're trying to adjust to land in a nice balance. Stable, but clear. So physically relaxing the body with the major muscle groups. So relaxing the head, including the muscles behind the eyes and the back of the tongue. Allowing the jaw to go slack, no need to hold it closed. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. The arms, and relaxing the hands, letting go of all the little micro tensions that we hold in the hands, preparing to grip or touch or feel. Relaxing the torso, letting go of any attempt to control the breath, including the belly and the lower back. Relaxing the hips, the legs, and relaxing the feet. And then relaxing the body as a whole, as one large field. Tuning into that overall experience, all of the body as one large collection. And if it's available, allowing the mind to take in all of our experience. So one broad capture of all of the different senses that are arising. If you find that the mind is worried about capturing every little detail, just see if you can focus more on an overall awareness. Just a broad, soft capture. Being sure to include our experience of me, the self, or any sense of an observer. All of these are just parts, and we're observing the overall experience. as we come in contact with this overall awareness. As part of this, recognizing our motivation. It's our goal to have clear, crisp, continuous connection with this awareness, this overall knowing. It's our motivation to wake up in this particular moment. So at any given moment, there are different objects of meditation. The mind could observe the body sensations or sounds or sights. But in this case, what we're observing is the mind's capacity to take in any of these. This open, spacious field that knows whatever it comes in contact with. This is awareness. As we explore this experience of awareness, perhaps recognizing that over time it can become a kind of home, a place to abide, to seek refuge. And without trying to add really anything at all, without trying to change this awareness, in a sense recognizing it as a welcoming force. As a force that doesn't need anything it comes in contact with to be different. It simply knows whatever the experience is. There may be a self or several selves that want or need sensations to be different, difficult sensations or annoying sensations, enjoyable sensations. But the awareness doesn't. The awareness is free of these difficulties, these attachments. So tuning into this welcoming, gentle, kind nature. What could be more friendly and kind than something that doesn't need anything to be different? If we find that we don't have this connection, this sense of this awareness, that's not uncommon. It can often feel like we're simply experiencing this from the perspective of a self, of a me. It's helpful to know that that me or that self-experience is still known by awareness. And while we can get pulled into the seemingly separate experience of a self, this awareness isn't so worried about that. This awareness takes in all of the data as one collective. So if we notice a part, a piece in this overall experience, just introducing it back to the whole. If we can, recognizing this whole, this totality, as open, welcoming, kind in nature. And seeing if we can rest in that space. And whatever experience arises, even if it's a distraction or a pleasant or challenging emotional experience, any particular part of us, a self, a need, an assessment, just introducing that part back to the whole, back to the overall. Sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking, a little scary to let go into the whole. And that's okay. The part of us that wants to hold on doesn't need to go away. It can come to the party along with everyone else. Letting our mind, mental audio, mental visual experience be known in this field. Letting our emotions and our sense of a narrative self or selves be known. Even letting our sense of time and space, our sense that there's a forward trajectory or a center, doesn't need to go away, just letting it be known. Even the sense of an observer or that which is observed. Anywhere there seems to be a center, a perspective. In other words, any place where the mind divides this field of raw sense data, just letting it be part of the whole. Staying with the practice, staying in stillness. We're going to add something else to this overall experience. We're going to add a little bit of light entering the bottom of the eyelids. And eventually allowing the eyes to rest on a single point as they fully open. If the impulse to end the meditation arises, just let this fold into all of the other sensations. This is a very important moment. In fact, this is the most important moment of the meditation. There's often a part of our mind that separates meditation from our life. It says meditation belongs on a cushion in stillness. But letting the spaciousness of seeing expand the spaciousness of awareness. Letting this particular moment show us how we can learn to integrate this practice into our day-to-day life. Letting this particular moment be the great teacher that has within it everything we need to be awake. And in this way, learning to bring this into every facet of life. Okay, so as we begin to collect into a narrative or a functional, a more functional version of ourselves, let's go ahead and use that old digital technology and either do one of two things, either type what that was like, what happened, what you're like now, or to jump on that first link and we can chit chat like kitty cats on the Discord. That was a lovely meditation. That was very intense. It's funny, I've said this. This is something talking about the psychedelic work that I've done, the psychedelic journey work. I've yet to experience anything in meditation, in the psychedelic work, no matter how intense the medicine is, including my experience with 5-MeO, DMT, that is more intense or more transformative or more like whoa than what happens in meditation. Hasn't happened to me yet. I mean, maybe it's possible. And that particular meditation, I think, may have been, there are some moments at the end that may have been like the deepest experiences I've ever had in meditation. So that was fun. That was fun. A level of letting go that was very, very significant. And I think it's just fundamentally different when the letting go is not propelled by by a medicine. Where you don't really have a lot of choice. It lets go for you. You can kind of like step out of the way, but it does a lot of the work for you versus the system itself letting go. Chris, we have you here in the waiting room. I'm going to ask you now. I know it takes about 15 seconds for the transfer, but you know the drill. Transfer over to audio on your Discord only. We're going to set it up soon so that you can hear my voice in the Discord. So as soon as you pop over, you can actually just switch, and there'll just be a weird lag between the video and the audio, but that's not here yet. Delicious substance. Okay, here we go. Chris. Hello, Chris. Are you there? Oh, one sec. I think I know what might be the case. Maybe this is it. All right, Chris, are you audible? It says you're talking, but I don't hear you. Okay. I'm going to ask a straight up favor from someone. If someone is willing to follow that first Discord link that's in the chat, I need to test this because we had some technical difficulties, and I just want to check if this is universal or if this is something that's, I know Chris has had some technical challenges too. So please, if you're willing to follow that link, pop into the voice waiting room. When you get there, switch your audio just to Discord, and we will chit chat like kitty cats for a moment, just so I can check the audio. That'd be very highly appreciated if anyone is willing to do that. In the meantime, Nate says, had an 11 a.m. call, but caught the last couple minutes. Looking forward to trying this one later. Yeah, it's a good time. It is a lovely process here. Let's see. Okay, great. Wonderful. Chris is back. Let's try Chris one more time. Okay, Chris, can we hear you? Cannot hear Chris. Okay. Again, if someone's willing to do that, that would be great. If not, don't worry about it. No pressure. No pressure at all. Okay. Excellent. What else was that like? What happened in your meditation? What do you like now? What on earth is that? This is, if you're wondering, this is entering into the sort of non-dual territory. We keep folding whatever occurs back into the overall experience, and until even the part that is folding anything, etc., is folded back into that overall experience, and there's this sort of universal, fundamental, existential breakdown of inside and outside. That's what's often referred to as non-duality. Okay, we got a comment here from Jean. Jean says the following.
At the start I came to the realization that I should not have had that second espresso, was feeling a bit physically and mentally jittery. I'd like to do this one again later to see if I missed anything, but my mind was blown again today. When you did the open your eyes to let in light, I thought we had maybe done 5 minutes. Gonna click the Discord link now.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and tell me if you click the Discord link and it's all messed up, you don't have to tell me now, but like it really helps if we figure this out, because it's like such an embarrassing thing. It's like everything's worked, we set it up, everything is all set, and then like we're like, here you go, and you know, whatever. See, like I don't see you in Discord now, so hopefully you're not having to set up a whole Discord account, but I think you already had one. I feel like you've had a Discord account for a while. P.S. People have been asking me to remind them about retreats, but that's not what's happening. We're going to be doing group mentorship is coming up very soon. So also I realized that if you want to find out about group mentorship and you have not signed up already, no, that's wrong word. Okay. You can also, nope, it's not Mentorshop. There we go, boom. Okay, Chris is trying to start a video. Chris is trying everything he can. Okay, so let me know, Gene, you clicked on that link. Let me know what happened. I do not have Discord account, but it's funky. It won't let me use Safari. Sorry about that. It's all currently asking me to claim an account. Which I've done before. I'm sorry, Gene. Okay, well, I guess if anyone has a Discord account and that's not a big deal, please feel free to click that box and we'll see if we can work it out. Otherwise, we're just going to skip that shit. Any other reports, questions, interest, opportunities, anything like that? Daniel Ingram, this is Chris's brother. It's funny. I'm sure, Daniel, you probably know that there's a, what's it called? Well-known meditation teacher by the same name. Okay, Daniel says the following.
I am only able to stay in awareness for like 10 to 15 seconds and then my mind goes into other thoughts and I have to
Great.
come back. I felt for the first time my awareness and self in my chest, almost in my stomach, and not in my head as I usually do. But instead of just letting it be, I acknowledged it and it kind of went away.
Yeah, well, just know that any sense of self is always mobile. It's always like when we, if we turn the sort of arrow around and look at the sense of self in the head somewhere, um, it feels like it's in the middle there. But if you really try to say, okay, where is it? Let's look at it from the other side. If it's in the middle, like let's look at it from here. It just sort of pushes forward. It never really lands anywhere. So now you experience the self in the chest and maybe the belly, but you looked and it disappeared. Everywhere we look for the self, it's going to disappear. The thing that's weird about it is it's phenomenologically, meaning just from a sensory perspective, from a first person perspective, the self seems incredibly solid because, what's another example of this exist if this being the case? The example that I always give is the child looking in the mirror. So the child, there's a mirror, child looks in the mirror, comes back, looks in the mirror, comes back. And the child comes to the very obvious and very real conclusion that there is a child living in the mirror and that the child comes out whenever they come around. And so the child is just there with another person. This is how the self works. When we observe the experience of self, it feels very solid, very stable. But then when we like merge with the world and look at a beautiful flower or sunset, or we're swimming and we're just really caught up in, well, where's that self? Well, it's dispersed. This is where, it's gone. But then we look back and, oh, it's solid again. So there's a sense that the self is very solid. And so the mind, being very simple, takes that as evidence that the self is always there. Plus, it's good for survival purposes that the self is always there. That it convinces us that the self is always there. So the point is, beep up 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 beep up up up, is that like this is my other analogy as a rendering of a VR game. This is what our senses do. They tell us that there's a world, and everywhere we look, the world appears, but it can't render everything. So this is a lot of what meditation does. We look at the details between the render spots. So we turn the head quickly enough, and it's funny, literally turning the head quickly enough, you can actually watch the world like orient and render. It's like if you do that quickly enough, it feels like the world goes whoop and actually catches up and gets solid. It like literally does that. It's not even like a metaphor anymore with the VR game. But so the whole world appearing to this central apparatus, the central thing, makes this system think that there is a self that comes in the middle. So when you say it disappeared for a moment, that's great. I mean, that's normal. That's a normal experience, and that's a normal detail. And noticing awareness or being with awareness for 15 or so seconds is great. That's great. See if you can notice it now. So this is a trick that I use that I think is very, very, very good to help people get attuned to awareness. So I'm going to ask some simple questions. People who've been on here for a while have heard me say this before, no doubt, but it's really effective. So I'll ask some very simple questions. Don't overthink it. Just tell me if this is the case, and you can tell me in the chat if it's the case. Right now, can you tell that you're seeing? Pretty simple, right? It should be an easy yes. Yeah, you can tell you're seeing. Right now, can you tell that you're hearing? It's pretty straightforward, not a big deal. Right now, can you tell that you're feeling that you have a physical body? Yeah, I mean, there's no question there. It's not confusing, right? Pretty easy, right? Now, each one of those is, let's see, I just got distracted by thinking about this teacher who there's a teacher who showed me this. Each one of those is different, right? Seeing, hearing, feeling, they're clearly different from each other, but something was the same every time. The thing that was the same was awareness. Awareness knows the experience. Whatever the experience is, it is known by the system. So awareness simply knows. So right now, it's the part of the mind that just takes in whatever's occurring. It's not what the object is. It is free of the object. It is the mind knowing experience without any attachment to object. That's happening right now. There, if the experience right now is known, that is awareness. So it can be a little tricky at first to pick up on what are we talking about, but that is a very good sort of way to get there. What is the same in each of those experiences, seeing, hearing, and feeling? But don't confuse it, because sometimes we can think the viewer is the thing that is the same. That is not the case necessarily. The viewer can also be known by awareness, so that can also be observed. So right now, if you observe the viewer, the sense that there is a person viewing this, just know that the thing that can do that is the awareness itself. Chris Ingram says the following. This is Chris after being stuck on Discord for X long. Okay, Chris.
Thought we were doing a loving kindness today. Great meditation. Lost my sense of orientation in awareness to the point my head was tilted and didn't notice. I also didn't mind the pain.
Okay, and then Chris Ingram also says,
I have a question about having a loving kindness practice in which we try to maintain these good feelings throughout the day as a way to purify the mind. Are you familiar with this kind of practice?
yes. So you're talking about a very specific strain of loving kindness practice, which is totally valid, totally interesting, totally worthwhile. I teach a different kind of loving kindness practice. So when you said, I thought we were doing loving kindness practice today, my response is, we did. That's what we did. I didn't really emphasize the loving kindness as much as I might normally. I think my system was going in a direction. I just sort of went in that direction. But my version of loving kindness and the depth of loving kindness is kind awareness. That the awareness itself is kind by its nature. And that's what we soak into. That is the thing that we're trying to tune into over and over again. This kind, welcoming awareness. That to me is the ultimate loving kindness practice. And it's not like some cockamamie thing I made up. This is actually very close to what Mahasi taught. So depending on which model you come from, it's going to be explained in different ways. So I'll explain this, I'm assuming, from some of the questions you've asked in the past, that you're familiar with the Theravada sort of 4 foundations of mindfulness version. So the general gist is there's sort of the body and mind, and then, there's body and mind, there's responses to our environment, then there's then there's awareness, there's chitta, that comes, later on, and then there's dharmas that are later. So if we look at loving kindness from the body perspective, then loving, nice emotions are wonderful, and that's what that's what the common American practice is. You have nice, good feelings all throughout the day, and you're pumping up those feelings. The challenge is that the good news is that it feels good right away. Good feelings are good, lovely, nice. They feel nice. They're motivating. They help us want to meditate. Excellent. The challenge is, you might have noticed, as soon as you stop doing that meditation, the emotions, those feelings go whoosh and disappear, like many objects of concentration. A different version, which is what Mahasi taught, is what they talk about as the metta mind state, which is actually what I having done it a lot, having sat with Sayadaw U Indika in Burma for months, and for practicing this and teaching this. What he's talking about is an awareness that is by its nature kind and loving and welcoming of everything, and that it is just by its nature taking in everything in this loving way. That's what kind awareness is. And here's a shocker. This is going to be a weird surprise for everyone. That kind, open, spacious awareness that we can have contact with now and then, that's not some trick of the mind. First level is to recognize that is home. That is actually our home. That's what the whole system is craving to rest in. It's like, I wish I could just rest in that kind of spacious awareness. The whole system is craving for that. It searches and searches and searches, but ultimately when it lands there, it's like, oh my God, this is incredibly satisfying. Those parts of us that are not satisfied, that are like, oh, feel very satisfied when they reach there. So that's how we know it's what we're looking for. Beyond that, beyond it being home, it is me. It is self. It is who we actually are. It is true being. So in Hinduism, they call it true being. In Buddhism, they call it Buddha nature. In Christianity, they call it God. In Judaism, they call it Kavanah. But it is this, they talk about the part of us that can never be wounded, the part of us that can never be hurt. That is, I'm using Christian, there's a Christian thinker and sort of philosopher. Oh boy, damn, I can't remember. O'Donohue, is that his name? Daniel O'Donohue, is that what it is? If someone has a Google capacity, he's a poet. Daniel O'Donohue, I think, might be who he is. Really beautiful poet. Thank you. We'll ask more when Discord works. Great. So, excellent. So, just know that we're talking about this open, spacious awareness to recognize that not only is this a place we could reside over time, it's actually this is actually me, and all the sub personalities and the things that push and pull and like these like wars that we have within ourselves. The self that it feels like we have right now, this is me, this is who I am, often is actually just an egoic hologram trying to run the show. Basically, in a sense, trying to be God. I'm going to run everything, I'm going to manage everything. And that part is isolated by its nature. And that's why we feel alienated. That's why we feel isolated. And that is that. Hopefully that is of interest. Hopefully that is fun and exciting. Okay, folks, any final questions? And this is, I really mean it. I'm going to end the show. If people don't pipe up, if you do, then we can chit chat more. But I just want to make sure that they don't come in after we've ended the stream. Yeah, hit me with anything else you got. Love to chat, love to find out. Folks, very excited. We're going to be back here in fewer than 48 hours, back on the top of the hill. I don't know what that means. We're going to be on the hill, and we're going to die on that hill. Folks, very lovely to see you all here. Thank you all, everyone who was able to join us and chit-chatter. We got, who do we have here? Just flashback. Chris Ingram, Julie Temple, Dan Ingram. Welcome, Dan. Nick, who is here. Nate, Disciple of One. Gene, of course, Gene. And I'm missing some people. I said Nate. Who else? 613 Styles. So many people. Thank you so much for joining us. Lovely, as always, to be here with you. Folks, what a great opportunity. I'm very, very happy that we had this chance to meditate today. I had a great time. Folks. Just taking a moment to let awareness take in your overall experience, all that you can perceive in this particular moment, all of those lovely experiences of seeing, hearing, and feeling. Take that all in. Super fun. Take in the sense of that we're here together as a group, which is pretty cool, pretty fun, and is a good time. And then, if you can, recognize that this might be a home, this might be a place to reside. In fact, this might even be you. Folks, as always, practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we'll see you all very, very soon.